Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have John here, and today is our fourth video in our law enforcement series. And today we're talking all things academy. So what is the police academy?
And I'm going to give you some insights. And if you're going into the academy, I've got a few tips for you that helped me get through it. Most of them came from my brother, but I learned a few on the way as well. Before we get started, I want to tell a quick story. Because the academy is the start of training, and they always say that when your adrenaline gets going and when you get into a crazy chaotic situation that you revert back to your training. It was a call for a kid, I say kid, 19, 20, somewhere in that age. He was at his parents' house and he was destroying the house, threatening to fight the dad. He had put holes in the walls and doing all this other sorts of stuff. And the dad wanted him out of the house. He didn't live there. He was just back visiting. So I remember being at the house. I remember cut out a bunch of it. I remember standing in a hallway and the kid was in his room and didn't want to come out. And we said, sorry, we're not going to kick down the door. And the dad said, well, I'm going to kick down the door and you guys are going to take him out of here. And I just remember standing up against the wall, full on like, oh, this is crazy. Like, how did I sign up for this and get into this situation? I remember the dad just pleading, please come out. Please don't make this happen. And he goes, nope. 1, 2, 3. Dad boots the door and I'm the first one in the room. Jump into the room. The kid, sure enough, he's there. He's kind of got his hands in the closet. So we grab him, we take him to the ground. But I just remember that crazy feeling right outside the door of like, how did I get here? Well, it all started at the academy.
So what is the academy exactly?
The academy is a school. In California, it's 6 months long, 26 weeks, or 1,020 hours, whichever makes it sound cooler. But it's long. And it kind of was like, you remember that week was right after we got married, we went to St. Lucia. What was that called?
Honeymoon?
Oh yeah, it was pretty much just like that.
I think that's a joke.
Oh yeah?
So what does a typical day in the academy look like?
So the academy, it depends on what state you're in, I'm sure. And there's different types of academies, whether they're paramilitary style or whether they're more laid back from what I've heard. But ours is very paramilitary. For us in California, first thing we did when we got there was lined up in formation and they inspected our uniform. I think that was your favorite part of the academy,
No,
right?
that was my least favorite part. Since the academy, I have vowed to never iron again. So I will steam things, but if it needs ironing, it goes to the cleaners. I refuse. I think I did more ironing in those 6 months than anyone should in their life.
Yeah, so they inspected like exactly where our lines were. Did we have any little strings hanging off? Was everything polished? Were our boots like perfect? So that's how the day started. And then from there, we would go into class. And most of the academy was learning laws. Basically in a classroom, studying through California Penal Code and through the Vehicle Code, along with learning tactics and a bunch of other stuff. But the first was learning laws. For example, if someone like breaks into your house and steals all your stuff, do you know what that is?
Burglary.
Yeah, most people say, oh, I got robbed, but that's not robbery, that's burglary. Someone steals stuff from you, like, oh, I got robbed. Not necessarily. What about this? You're walking down the street and your cell phone's in your back pocket and someone runs up, grabs the phone out of your pocket and takes off running. Robbery or burglary?
Robbery.
Neither. It's
What?
Grand theft from person.
What is?
So robbery, for example, robbery only counts if it's a theft done by force or fear. Right? So if I come up and we get in a fight over your purse and I shove you to the ground, now it's robbery. But if I just grab something from you and run, it doesn't even count as robbery. And the difference might be felony or misdemeanor. So as a citizen, now you know the difference between robbery and burglary. And because we get it all the time, we have people that we ask them, hey, were you scared? Because that's one of the elements of the crime. Because if they didn't use force, they just said, hey, give me your purse or I'm going to beat you up. And then we say, were you scared? They go, no. Like, all right, well, now it's just a misdemeanor theft. It's not a felony robbery. So
I would be scared.
Yeah. So I say, yes, I was scared. A lot of the academy also is training for different aspects of police work, such as firearms, defensive tactics, which is like kind of all of our arrest techniques, including handcuffing and grappling or wrestling, those types of things. Driving, we do take high speed and low speed driving courses. We also do different tactics learning. So not defensive tactics, but just general tactics of how to approach a house, how to clear a room. And then we also do a ton of physical fitness at the academy.
Which at the end, after that, you don't do any.
Whoa, not me. I do.
I know. Well, that's a whole different conversation.
So I have a question I want to ask you. Do you think police officers should have to maintain a certain physical fitness level?
1000%. And that is one of my complaints about. Some do, but your department specifically does not have any physical fitness requirements post-academy or post-hiring.
I don't know of any department that does.
So I do know some departments give their officers like an hour paid time to work out on duty. Yours doesn't.
No.
And you can tell.
Okay, so
by
I
your friends.
know why I think people should work out, but why? What would you say?
Well, I would say if you're on a call, I don't want a sloppy, unfit police officer, I could name a few, having your back. I want them to be fit and be able to be strong and handle the situation as needed. And be able to run too if needed. Get in a foot pursuit. You gotta be able to run.
I mean, I agree. The physical fitness stops at the police academy, but at the police academy, they are trying to teach you, like, hey, this is a lifestyle change. This is what your life is going to be like.
Gosh, I should work at the academy. I'd be so good.
Yeah, right. There's no way you could yell as much as they did.
Yeah,
you'd probably be all right. Yeah. I say that because our police academy was very like paramilitary, like I said. So they yelled at us like crazy. There was one time a guy accidentally forgot his gun at home. It was locked, not like lost it. And so the RTOs, the recruit training officers, made him carry around 2 5-gallon water jugs for the entire week. So everywhere he went, he had to carry those 2 things. So his traps were huge by the end of it.
So what are some workouts or things maybe if someone's going into the academy that they should prepare, style of fitness that they do in the academy?
Yeah, so a ton of like HIIT training, which is high intensity.
High intensity interval training. Lots of burpees, lots of push-ups.
Lots of burpees, a ton of burpees, a ton of push-ups, a ton of flutter kicks, more than sit-ups or anything, but the same idea. Not as much running, but you get a crazy aerobic exercise from just the number of burpees that you do, or at least at our academy. And we're talking every hour on the break, every hour is like a 10-15 minute window. It's just like, go to the gym, work out.
For someone who might be looking to go into the academy, your style of academy, what does day one look like for someone? Because I know it was nerve-wracking for both of us.
I was very nervous because you have no idea what you're getting into, but for ours, it was a lot of kind of laying down the rules, and not by going to the classroom and say, hey, this is how it's going to run. It's like you mess up and they start yelling and screaming at you and make you get on your face and start doing push-ups. And you're like, what did I do wrong? And you kind of learn as you go. By the end of the first week, you kind of have a little like idea of what you're supposed to do. But it's mostly just to kind of get you into this mindset, I think. They're playing kind of these mind games with you about just being very disciplined, making sure you're crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's with everything from your uniform to the equipment you have to the time you show up to how you walk down the hallway. They're just very regimented to make you understand that in this profession, in this job, there are rules you have to follow and there's certain things that you have to do like very specific ways.
Can't skip steps or take shortcuts.
At all.
Yeah. All right, so give us a few tips to hopefully make the academy an easier process.
My first tip, which I think these ones are all very important or would help out a lot. But the first one is try to hide in the middle of the pack for as long as you can. Which sounds crazy because everybody wants to be the best. But if you're macho man or macho woman, first in line, first to finish, first to speak up at the beginning, you kind of are picked on right away by the recruit training officers. And if you're just sloppy, can't get it done, making all these mistakes, like you have a target on your back from the very beginning. So by the end, I absolutely tried to excel or tried to be at the top of the class. But for the first like 3-4 weeks, you don't want to be that person that is already like the RTO's favorite, because then you just get picked on, whether that's at the top of the class or the bottom of the class. So it's by far my first tip.
And real quick, this is something John doesn't want me to talk about, but there's awards you actually win in the academy, such as physical fitness, report writing, firearms. I don't know. There's 2 other ones. And John won 4 out of the 5 awards and was also class vice president. So take these tips seriously because he knows what he's talking about.
Well, first off, I took all of those awards back to my PD, and just because of that, like the rest of my job was so much easier. No, just kidding. No one cared. Second, president, not vice president.
Oh, class president.
Gosh. My second tip is play the game. There's a lot of mental mind games going back and forth, and they're trying to prepare you. But at the end of the day, if you understand that these aren't your future bosses, but they're trying to help get you ready, and if you don't take it personal, it really helps you mentally like relax a little bit, even when they're yelling at you and when you're going home and doing whatever you need to as far as homework goes. If you can relax and kind of take that back, like, hey, this isn't personal, this is just how every class gets dealt with. It's part of the process, it's part of the game, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think by the end of the 6 months, you were friends with your recruit training officers. And now still, I mean, they're social media friends and they're really cool guys. They're dads, they're husbands, they're normal people that just like to yell a lot. All right, last tip.
Last tip, by far the most important, is to make sure that you have prepared your support system. Because there's no way in the world I would have been able to make it through the academy by myself without the help of Bethany. There's just no way. But she probably had it just as hard as I did, having 3 kids at that time, right?
Yep.
But having 3 kids, it's probably just as hard for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least the first few months were really hard until you kind of got the hang of things. I think there was a point like 3 or 4 months in, I was like, okay, I'm not waking up with you anymore at 4 in the morning. You can make your own breakfast. But if you have someone that you're a support system for going through the academy, chat with me in the comments below and I'd love to help you because there are a lot of specific tips. I feel like it could be a whole entire video just of what I did to really help him. If you have children and you're going through it, you can pretty much expect to be a single parent during the week. Like they need to come home and be able to decompress and focus on their homework because they have a ton of it through the academy.
If you don't have a support system and you're doing it on your own, like more power to you, but use a cleaner service, use like a meal prep service, use anything you can that you can afford to help make your life easier. Take your boots, get them dropped off to get shined, whatever you can. Yeah. Because I have to shine those.
Forgot about the boots and the brass and
yeah, so much. So if you can have a system that helps you, then absolutely do it. But
yeah, and again, if you guys have any specific comments about anything we talked about in this video, leave them in the comments below. Be sure to give it a thumbs up right now so more people can see this video, and hopefully it'd be a great resource to help people through the academy or just realize what goes into the training of a police officer, at least here in California.
Yep, definitely the start of the training, but not all of it because it never stops.
We'll go into more next video on the job training, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us.
We'll be done in 45 seconds. That she wasn't here during the academy.
We wouldn't have made it.